Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now, there are only 3 parts of finance that you need to master to be successful with money. Number 1, making money, and that's through your actual active income, whether it's a regular 9-to-5 job or a business, etc. Number 2, that is simply investing your money. So that just means taking part of your active income and making it grow over time. And lastly, saving money. So that just means you're spending less money than you make each month. Now, today we're gonna focus on the latter, aka frugal wealth, which is probably the one out of the 3 that simply does not get talked about enough. But right now we're about to change that. Okay, so I know it's cool when you're young. You want to buy all the new trendy clothes, go and eat out on regular basis, spend money like no tomorrow in general. However, what's much cooler than that, in my opinion, is not being a slave to that lifestyle and having to live paycheck to paycheck for a long time like most people in US do. There's some great statistics that over half the population in the US lives paycheck to paycheck, right? Which is just crazy. And that's not just young people, right? It's really average of all ages. But what we can focus on today through the frugal wealth is to actually properly set yourself up for retirement and just have a financially free lifestyle in general, which should be the goal for everybody. So let's really break it down now. And let's start off with the power of compound interest, which I actually found super fascinating as a statistic when I first found out about it a couple years ago. However, as I mentioned before, none of this will be possible without the power of having some form of savings plan and actively spending less money than we make. Okay, so here's the great statistics about compound interest now. So if an 18-year-old right now was to put $2,000 set aside into a Roth IRA account, and if he does not touch until he's 60, then he should have around $50,000, right? Which is quite crazy. Now, all this assumes an 8% interest rate compounded annually, which isn't that unrealistic, which is what pretty much you'll get in a regular S&P 500 account. Now, let's say the 18-year-old put $2,000 from the 18 years of age to the 60 years of age. Then again, to the power of the compound interest, he's gonna have $700,000, right? Which is just crazy. Now, let's say he decides to max out his Roth IRA yearly and he puts entire $5,500 for those 42 years between 18 years old and 60 years old. Then at that point, he has $1.7 million. Nothing fancy, just max out a Roth IRA. Anybody can do this. Again, assuming the 8% compounded interest rate over the 42-year period. Now, the craziest part about this is that literally anybody can go and put $2,000 from 18 years old to 60 years old every single year. Boom, 8% compounded interest rate over those 42 years. Again, $700,000, guys. Now, that's a millionaire in the making, literally. Just to recap, here's what compound interest is. Just to recap in simple terms, this is what compound interest is. If you have $1,000 in year 1 and then it goes up by 10% throughout the year, then you're gonna have $1,100. Now, let's say next year, again, it goes up by 10%. You're not adding the 10% to $1,000, you're adding it now to $1,100. And that's how the power of compound interest works. You're adding interest on top of the interest, right? No 42-year period, for example, it can really add up. Now, really quickly, guys, I just wanted to ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload. There's no ads, nothing I'm promoting to you guys. The only thing I ask, guys, to support the mission and the channel, just subscribe. Now, I want to give you another perspective of how to look at frugal wealth, and that simply is a statistic of how much money you really need to make to be happy, and how much money, if you made extra, your really level of happiness wouldn't really increase as much as you think it would. So that number, according to numerous studies I averaged out in the US, is around $80,000 per year, which is a little bit less, but let's say around $7,000 a month. So think of it this way, guys. If someone goes from making $700 to, let's say, $7,000, now there's going to be a huge difference in happiness, because this way he's going to fully have a shelter, he's fully going to have food, and essentially all of the basic needs at that sum, $7,000, would be met, right? Now, let's say that same person goes from making $7,000 to $70,000. Now, you might think, wow, that's once again 10 times difference. And yes, all of that is true. According to the surveys and the studies, the level of happiness really wouldn't change that much, if any. Now, here are some simple reasons why you shouldn't really be spending much more once your basic financial needs are met. Well, first is the obvious one, right? The more you spend, the quicker you're taking out of that active income or your savings, and it just might straight up put you in a stressful financial situation, which is not good. Also, spending that extra money will make you go further away from your financial goals, right? Such as having enough money for retirement or just being closer to your financial freedom overall in general. There's also lots of opportunities as well, right? Because excessive spending can prevent you from taking advantage of other investment opportunities or experiences that may have a greater impact on your financial well-being in the long run. Lastly, overspending can lead to a lack of discipline in managing your finances. Now, lack of discipline in one area can truly leak into all other areas of life and make you undisciplined and fall behind in your other endeavors. With this, the video is over, guys. Let me know what you think about the idea of frugal wealth, whether it's something you're practicing or something that you would consider practicing because of this video or because of other sources that you've been inspired from and read about or watched about. I'd love to hear your perspective down below. Let me know other similar financial content you'd like me to do next. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to support the movement. And as always, guys, stay diversified.